It's an areological, autoerotical, tubular, bovular joy, an explosive...
ECW.
ECW.
WCW. Oh, long shot. Yes. That's a different episode.
I think this might be my coronation as champ.
Yeah?
Didn't we announce that I won the title in the Mortal Kombat fight on the last episode? It just aired up in the corner.
Yeah, just aired in the corner.
My gaming championship on the ECW episode.
Wait, Monterey won that though. Who the hell are you?
Doesn't matter. Both.
Oh, I feel honored to be in your presence. A champion.
So, before we start the ECW podcast, we have to do something very important.
What are we doing? What are you doing? Hopefully it's not something I could...
Get the New Jack figure. Rich, get the New Jack figure. We're going to play this throughout the entire episode in the background, like it's a New Jack match. Now make him do a balcony dive off of the desk.
See, I came prepared.
The whole episode we're going to play this. For the real ECW feel. What do you guys think?
I feel great about it.
All right, I'm for it.
We're not going to do that, but what we are going to do...
We're not going to do that.
Play that in the background when I defend this title. Do you have an N64 emulator?
I do.
I'm going to defend this title in a ECW video game match, and I'm going to play as New Jack while that music plays in the background, and I beat both of your asses.
Okay.
Challenge accepted.
And if there's no three-way dance for the shot at the title, I want both of you to guess how much I paid for this new dope-ass suit jacket, and whoever guesses closest to the price wins the title shot.
Can we just do that now? I mean, that feels pretty good.
Well, if there's a three-way dance option in the game, we're going to have a three-way title match.
Well, we can do that and then have the three-way dance anyway after as a
How about whoever guesses it?
a mandatory defense regardless of who's the champion after.
Whatever you just said.
How about whoever guesses gets your belt?
No, fuck no, it's a gaming
You just said that.
No, if there's no three-way dance option.
But we traded belts back and forth guessing populations of states.
All right, there's no title shot.
No title defense.
There is another added stipulation. If Rich wins, he has to defend it at least weekly, possibly online.
Absolutely not. I'm Brock Lesnar. I'm a part-time...
He doesn't like people.
He's out. It's just me and
Hate
you.
people. Absolutely hate them.
What do you guys think I paid for this suit coat?
$1.
What do you think?
$3.99.
86 cents.
Damn it!
Yes!
Dollar rack. Quarter, 25% off. Goodwill.
I don't know how I would have won the title.
Goodbye.
It was a quarter off and a 25% off.
It's a steal. It smells like a grandfather's closet, but it's a steal.
I haven't washed it. I maybe should.
You probably should.
It smells like an old closet and stale pot.
That's just me.
Oh.
That's the pants
That's not the
and
jacket.
the hair.
So I haven't been here in a while. How's your dicks?
Low and lazy.
Gone.
Where is it?
I don't know.
We gotta find it.
If I knew it would be here.
I'll find it.
Oh!
Almost. Yeah. Look, keep going. Keep going. Nope. Yeah, there it is.
Found it.
There it is.
So I want to hear about the first time you guys ever saw or heard about ECW, your first experience with it.
Me, I was living in New Jersey, and it was on MSG at like 1 or 2 in the morning. I just happened to stumble across it and fell in love.
So you watched the
With a
episode,
guy?
Vic? You watched just a random, like, not a hardcore TV episode, but their nightly show they would air or whatever on their channel?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first episode? It was just like a house show, so to speak, like an arena show or something like that?
I don't think I didn't start when the show started. I didn't go, I caught it later on. And then I went back and, they used to trade tapes.
Oh yeah, me too.
And then I started kind of getting my history on with that.
You remember the first event or the first matches you saw or anything like that?
I do, actually. The first event I ever went to was in Trenton.
You went to a few of them too. That's cool. What year was that?
That had to have been, I'm going to guess, 90. That might have been 97 or 98.
That's a really good year.
RVD was there. He pointed me out of the crowd and gave me the...
He did not.
Yeah, he gave me one of these. I was in the 4th row.
No, he didn't.
I have an even better story. That same show, the Dudleys had what, like nuclear heat? I mean, they were like awful. And they would just say whatever the hell they wanted. And the fight went into the crowd. And as this thing was going through, one of these fans, he had to have been a teenager. He tried to test Bubba. So he's about half Bubba's size, and he pushes him. Bubba laid him the fuck out.
He punched him?
Like just he attacked him, so he was defending himself.
Yeah, but it was a 16-year-old kid. He laid out some...
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The kid was carried out by security. He was limp. I mean, he was out.
Like a wet noodle.
It was crazy. I was like, I love ECW.
Yeah, Bubba was notorious for that.
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck. Yes, he did point me out and go like this.
That was you and like 10 other people around.
That was me, specifically. We locked eyes.
I swore he looked at me. I swore Van Dam looked at me.
This
in the fucking crowd.
We fell in love.
It's starting to sound like a Charlie story with Rob Zombie. He's like, he touched my hand.
I did touch RV.
Except that mine is a true story.
I couldn't see him. But
His could have been too. It could have been some homoerotic something, brother. I don't know.
But through a wall of people, I shoved my hand like this, and I felt grip tape on a hand touch my hand. I was like 16. Haven't watched it since.
Might have been something else, but you haven't watched
That's
it?
great. Who did you see him wrestle at the show you went to?
Man, I don't even remember at this point. This is so long ago. I'm getting old. My memory's leaving me.
What's the first your first experience with ECW, James?
We talked about that before in the
Yeah, so who cares?
backyard wrestling
Doesn't
thing.
matter,
Just
shut
to
up.
reiterate.
Oh, I remember now. Spike Dudley.
Oh, go ahead, reiterate.
It was at MBK's.
RVD versus Spike?
Yeah.
They had a lot of really good matches.
Yeah, because they were doing a lot of the tour type stuff, and it was a house show.
That's cool.
It was at MBK's house. We were over there for some pay-per-view or whatever it was. I just remember, who the heck was it? Woman that was doing a striptease or something? No, it was, who the fuck is doing a striptease during the show?
Dawn Marie?
That was like the first thing, no.
Francine?
Kimono 108 is the famous one.
Yes, that's who it was.
Well, if that wouldn't have been a pay-per-view, that would have been a compilation tape.
Whatever it was, we were over there and I was watching that. It's the first time I got exposed to ECW as I saw striptease and like, well, this is different, especially for the time. Like, not used to this. What, 1999? I think that was.
Oh yeah, ECW too. Now, speaking of the hot women, Rich, I know you're a married man, so you talk about it first. Who was the hottest chick in ECW, do you think?
I mean, I guess Francine. You know, I mean, how can you not say her?
Yeah, what do you...
Dawn Marie had that trashy thing going for her, so that was
he
kind of
likes
nice.
Electra.
Probably.
No.
You're a jazz guy.
I am a jazz guy.
Jazz guy. There's jazz hands in her.
No, woman was all right. They all looked like... I don't know, they all looked kind of trashy, so really you go either direction and you're like, man,
they looked extreme.
Whatever.
That was in your face, purposely trashy. I remember they had
Well, of course it was. That was their whole thing. That was what they were gearing toward.
Miscongeniality?
Their website had a thing called Pervert Pics. And like they had pervert camera or some shit, and it was just like these ridiculous shots of them getting in the ring and like skanky pictures and shit like that.
I mean, that's what Paul Heyman used to like to sell. I mean, that was it.
He still
That was the point. Counterculture. I mean, that was the whole point. It was counterculture. So, and after the fact, that's when you started to get your Sable and your Major Guns and everything else like that. But before, it was what Sonny was the craziest thing you'd see in like the mainstream wrestling.
Yeah.
Everything else was Elizabeth, Luna Vachon, and they just stand by the
Marlena
ring.
came along. She was kind of wild too.
Stand by the ring and scream.
So New Jack on the Legion of Skanks podcast, I don't know if this was on the air or off the air, but he showed them pictures of Marlena cutting herself and bleeding all over her own face and him busting nuts in her face while she's bleeding on herself.
It's quite a video.
That's special.
It's hardcore.
You find a picture of that for me and send it to me?
I've drawn several. I'm still looking
For research purposes.
for the. I could maybe Photoshop something up.
Okay.
Just I'll give you like just an 8x10, and it's just there's a picture of just real jizz and blood on it. And like, there you go.
It looks like
Where'd
it.
you get that from?
Quite a combo, jizz and blood.
And metallic, like load the metallic.
Is that your mutagen men in the back?
Jizz and Blood, a memoir.
First thing I saw was Guilty as Charged, 99, I believe it was. The thing that really blew
nice.
my mind, I watched repeatedly, was the Dudleys against Spike and New Jack. Spike came out dressed as New Jack. There was no balcony dive, but just the weaponry and just all the crazy shit they did. That one I watched repeatedly. Shane Douglas was in the main event against Taz. They went through some tables. Sabu did a run at the end. Initially, Spike and Tommy were real high on my favorites list, but quickly it became three of my all-time favorites historically. RVD, Sabu, Sandman, and through the years I realized New Jack as well also.
Oh, of course, for you. I mean, you're all about the deathmatch thing.
And I was a bounty hunter too.
Yeah.
For a period.
I can see
And
that.
my rap career, so I do have a lot in common with New Jack.
Yeah.
My tag team with Mustafa.
Yeah. I remember that.
You're a dead ringer for him, too. You look identical to him.
You do.
People say that, yeah.
Must be the hair.
Yep. What about you guys? Who are your favorite ECW wrestlers?
Easily RVD for me. Sabu, Taz, but with one Z. I thought Taz was such a badass back then. You know the fuck the world
Yeah, he had a big
championship.
fight atmosphere to all of his.
Yeah, he was legit. I mean, Tommy Dreamer, just because of what he represented.
Oh yeah, he was the heart and soul.
He's like the Captain America of that
He
shit.
wrestled Just Incredible in a Stairway to Hell barbed wire match, the first event I saw, and that was quite good. I think that's one of the things that endeared him to me early on.
Mike Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he was just such a monster, but he was probably one of the most underrated
Stiff.
big men
Brutal.
ever. Masato
Brutal.
Tanaka, I loved him.
So
Awesome.
matches that Mike Awesome had against Spike Dudley.
The matches, yeah, I actually saw that in Utica.
2000.
Chuck him
I saw
everywhere.
that in Utica too.
Was
Mike Awesome
was
versus
it
Spike Dudley.
Spike Dudley's
Really?
girlfriend, and
That's
Mike Awesome
amazing.
just chucked her out of her fucking
Clotheslined her tooth out of her head.
yeah, clotheslined the shit out of her, and then chucked fucking Spike Dudley out of the ring.
Yep.
I didn't add a lot of the other guys on my list that were not really mainstays. Like Bam Bam was awesome there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of them that were like originated there that you could say,
Well, you could- you
Rey
could
Mysterio,
throw
Chris Jericho, and, like,
Benoit.
Steve Austin, like
Cactus
A lot of
Jack.
people
Yeah.
passed through.
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk would be like probably mine. Absolutely.
Jerry Lynn.
Oh yeah.
He was fucking awesome. I mean, he was incredible. So, some of my favorite matches were him and RVD.
Paul had
Just
a good way of
nonstop.
bringing in like the luchas and people from Japan and other people that you wouldn't expect to have wrestled there.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of the guys on their way up.
Psycho Sid was there for a hot minute.
Oh yeah.
Stone Cold.
Psycho Sid, I think, was actually on the first ECW pay-per-view event I ever saw against John Cronus and just annihilated him. Chokeslammed him.
Yeah,
out of
did the
ring through a
chokeslam then,
table.
right?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
You said you brought up Guilty as Charged. That makes me think of the last pay-per-view that they ever had.
Was that with Tommy and CW, the massacre on 34th Street?
No, the very last one that they ever had. It was in Hammerstein Ballroom. I was actually at that one too.
You went to that one?
Yeah,
Was
I was lucky enough to be
Was
there.
that the four-way TLC with Sam and
Yes.
Carino and holy shit?
And it ended up Rhino with the title, and
yeah, and he beat Sam in.
it was awesome. And I guess at the time you didn't know it was going to be the last one.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't supposed to be.
I don't know if we're.
Well, probably in the locker room it was supposed to be, but
I don't know if me and this guy are as good as friends as we were after knowing he's been to that show.
what did you just say?
I can hear you.
My friend TJ in New Jersey told me he was at the Sabu and Terry Funk no rope barbed wire match.
Oh, that would have been
For
crazy.
months, I made a huge deal about it. Like, I don't know if I could be friends with you anymore, man. I'm honestly real jealous about that. And I think it's going to affect our friendship.
Would it make you even more jealous to know that I met Tommy Dreamer that night?
No, I mean, I met Tommy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Signed my
That
autograph.
is awesome you were there, though. That was a great match, that four-way TLC.
Yeah. It was a crazy event, you know.
I thought ECW was great right up until the end, man.
Yeah.
When I went to shows, it was in 99, so it was after Taz and a couple other guys, but
That whole after Taz thing with him and Mike Awesome was crazy. That whole piece of business there where they didn't trust Awesome
they
anymore.
ushered him in with WWE security and
And then they brought Taz back to win the belt
hit
briefly.
him with a power bomb or something like
Yeah.
that.
that was the whole WCW, WWF contracted wrestlers fighting ECW. Nah.
It was
Which is really interesting. It was like, wow.
It is. Fascinating story, really.
Especially, what was that, 2001?
Yeah.
2? Something like that?
I believe 01.
Yeah. Like that was
Probably wrote
way
down
after
somewhere.
like whole contract wars and everything. So that wasn't like back in the 80s when, you know, that was a little more lenient. That was,
There was more contracts involved. That would
yeah,
actually
that was definitely a
disallow
business thing where it's like, wow, how the hell did that happen? But
And then letting Taz come back, like as like the hero, the returning hero, that was such good business.
Yeah.
And then Dreamer beat him like a week later. Finally got the belt.
yeah, but you know what I liked about ECW was there was no distraction. No,
Yeah.
no like big lights, no big fireworks.
No, it was just straight up.
It was the ring
In your face.
and the crowd.
The real
and that
music
was
gave it an edge too.
Yeah, I think that was always cool. Where you know you can connect to like some real songs that we knew from the radio or whatever.
right.
And what would you say the production style was? Because it didn't feel like not as polished as WWF, obviously.
Obviously not, no.
In your face is kind of a broad term. Do you think it was more like a late night TV commercial where they're like, up next, this and this?
Yeah, like an infomercial type of deal.
It was
in a
pretty-
lot of ways.
Yeah.
especially early
Riveting.
on, because they even did almost infomercials in between each
Joey
match.
did infomercials.
They did a lot. Didn't they do a lot of the? Did they do a lot of the editing on the spot, or did they do it like in
Paul's basement. and
Paul's
shit.
basement? Well,
Yeah, I
they
think it's
shot
Paul's
like
basement.
promos and stuff in his basement.
A lot of those guys gained talents that they still use today in the business, like Tommy running House of Hardcore and Bubba being a booker and a writer. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was such a hands-on thing that a lot of the wrestlers gained talents that they were able to use later on in their careers as well. Simon Dean or Nova, whatever his name is a trainer and all that.
I think it really helped Tommy Dreamer. He does pretty well for himself now.
Yeah, yeah,
And they're all on that Busted Open show too. We're better than them though.
yeah.
Way better.
Clearly,
Don't edit that.
I'm not.
Shots fired.
I'm a huge Mike Awesome fan too. He's in my top 10 for sure. I think him and Tanaka
Yeah.
is my favorite feud of all time.
I think one of the speaking of feuds, I think one of the greatest feuds in the history of professional wrestling.
Raven and Tommy Dreamer?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, hands down. I mean, it's one of the greatest all-time rivalries. It's one of the best written stories.
Storyline wise, and it just the amount of people it brought in too, like Skull and Chains and 8 Ball and Terry
Funk,
and
yeah, I mean,
PWO and all these other guys, and led to a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites
And
of all
it's
time.
ever running. It's
I was gonna say
ongoing.
it never really stopped, didn't it?
No, it just kind of always came back up and resurfaced
Yeah.
throughout the.
It was like one of those like angles. Like, what do we do? Well, we always have this.
Yeah, you always go right back to it.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys notice I wore my Philadelphia jersey for the show tonight? My Philadelphia Flyers jersey.
Look at that.
I'm pretty sure that's
Is it the Eagles? Is it the Eagles or the Flyers?
it's probably the Bears.
Philadelphia Bears?
No,
Yeah, it's the Philadelphia Bears.
pretty sure that's a Brian Urlacher jersey.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're wrong. Trying to get cheap heat on me. That's some shit.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I've been to Philly like 8 times.
I'm trying to get them all messed up before our big showdown
How many
later.
times you been to Philly? I've been there a lot.
I mean, a couple times.
You ever been to the arena?
No, never to the original arena.
I'm going in like 2 weeks.
That's awesome. It's a weird
It doesn't
flex.
look anything like it used to.
Weird flex, but okay.
I've been there a lot of times. I'm trying to throw shit in your face because I'm pissed you went to the ECW show.
Or that I called you out on your Chicago jersey.
Yeah. Dude.
What do you mean Chicago jersey? That's clearly not a Chicago jersey. Anyone that watches football knows that's not Chicago. Come on now.
No. I thought it was a Broncos jersey at first.
Yeah.
Denver, really? Weird.
Kind of fucked up you guys are talking about it like this because this is a memorial jersey for the Philadelphia football team player that died that was a Syracuse Orangeman. So they made an orange commemorative jersey in his memory.
It's a good thing Brian Urlacher, the Bear, is still alive, though.
This was the guy's college number.
You really hang on to the gimmick. I love it.
This is the ECW episode. I wanted to rep Philly properly.
Speaking of gimmicks, what was your favorite ECW gimmicks?
So what?
Is that a good segue transition?
Gimmicks as far as like funny or just characters?
Anything.
in
Like,
general?
what did you like for characters?
I like Raven that there was
Raven was great.
subtle drug undertones and he would
There
like,
was.
enslave people and brainwash people. That was cool. Sabu's early shit where he was strapped to the gurney.
I mean, all of the Dudleys. I mean,
A lot of the early stuff was over the. Even the Dudley's early stuff was way
Sign
over
Guy
the top.
Dudley.
Do you know the
Yeah.
origin of the Dudley's gimmick? What who invented it and everything?
Go ahead.
Raven invented it.
Did he really? I don't think I remember
And he
that.
invented there was a fictional character, a fictional jobber. I think his name was Dudley Dudley. And the story was that he went around to different territories and impregnated different women in every territory.
Yeah, all right,
So there was
yeah.
an endless amount of Dudleys in the United States, and they were all half brothers, and there was all kinds of different ones.
Just really happy that Bubba like fixed that stutter he used to have.
Yeah.
I think
Really-
he
really
got
came through.
electrocuted with Gold Dust.
And then Gold Dust developed a stutter, or a weird version of the stutter.
Well, Booker T threw him into an electrical.
Yeah.
That's more hardcore than anything ECW's ever done. Actually, is somebody getting thrown into a live electrical box.
I mean, they lit stuff on fire. That was pretty.
They had done a lot of tables. They've originated a lot of shit, a lot of firsts in ECW. First tax probably well, maybe they've done it elsewhere in North America.
Well, yeah, on the mainstream
market.
Yeah, main stage in North America. I guess you could credit them.
Ian and
But that stuff was all done in Japan way beforehand. I mean, that's where they got all the stuff from. So
Great pay-per-view names. Anarchy Rules, December to Dismember.
They all sound sort of foreboding, like
Yeah. I always like the names, you know. Barely Legal. That one maybe a little bit weird. You know.
well,
Guilty as charged.
I like the Barely Legal, their first one there, just because like that was the whole legality thing.
Hardcore Heaven. Are you putting them up there as I say them or no? Not this time.
Oh, now I am.
No, we got action. We got a fan cam fights going on up there.
Oh yeah, that too.
So
No,
what
that's
arenas-
back on.
what
I don't
arenas
see
have you
anything.
been to? You went to the Hammerstein Ballroom. I've never been there. Have you what other arenas?
For
did you see?
ECW?
Yeah.
Well, I went to Utica.
Oh, the Utica Odd. Okay.
Yeah, the Odd. I don't remember the place in Trent, what it was called. I mean, I was a teenager. But then what's the one in Schenectady? I've been to
Armory?
4 shows.
That's the Armory.
Yeah, I went to that
That
one
used
too.
to be there.
That one I went to in probably
Schenectady,
99.
Georgia.
What was the main event?
Jesus, I knew you'd ask me that.
Was it Tommy Dreamer and Tajiri against Rhino and Steve Carino?
I actually think it was.
I was there.
See, we were always meant to be. We were meant to be.
Man, that was cool. What was your seat number?
Oh, come on. If you remember your seat number, you can go fuck yourself.
Row 3, South Side, seat 12.
Underneath his jacket, he has all of his old
I still have the
stubs.
ticket. I got watches.
He's like, I'm going to upstage everyone tonight.
No, that's awesome. That was my first. That was the first live wrestling show I ever went to. The first match was Mad Dog Mike against H.C. Loke, who Steve Carino brought out to the ring. Or no, he brought Mad Dog Mike out. And Balls Mahoney got powerbomb through a thumbtack table.
Yes, I remember
They
that.
just annihilated all 3 baldies with a chair. Then they hit him with a barbed wire bat. That was insane to see. 99. I
I
was
just moved up here, too.
that
I
good
didn't know
still
what
was at that
Schenectady
same
was.
very show, the Green Demon. We should put his face there. We have to do an edit for that.
I remember the...
Didn't look at him. Would you look at him? Wrong promotion. Oh my God!
In the Utica show, I saw Mike Awesome powerbomb someone out of the ring. I think it was Spike Dudley. Through a table right in front of me. I had front row.
That is fucking real awesome.
That's something you don't forget.
Awesome.
You don't forget that.
That's I've never seen him in person, Mike Awesome.
He looked like a tank. Especially then because he's probably all geared up still. He's probably all types of juiced. But he was a monster. I mean, he was just a tank.
Was that Armory show that you guys went to? Is that the same one that Scott Hall debuted in?
That wasn't the Armory. It was a soccer arena of some sort.
Oh
Yeah, and-
all right.
Sport-
I never
Yeah,
saw
the
Scott Hall
Sportatorium.
live, so I don't...
Yeah, I saw Scott Hall in Poughkeepsie. Scott Hall against Just Incredible. They found a way to incorporate a table break into the match, which I thought was ingenious. Just Incredible did the thing where he gets Irish whipping in the corner and does the Ric Flair flip. And as soon as he did that, Hall was there to hit him with a right, and he flat backed off the apron through the ringside table.
That's
cool.
awesome.
Saw a lot of cool shit. RVD versus Bigelow in Poughkeepsie. I saw 2 shows down there in Poughkeepsie.
God, I liked Bigelow in... I like him
Or
anyway.
Balls Mahoney, rather. I've never seen Bigelow live, but yeah, Bigelow did a lot of cool shit there. too.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite matches is him and Taz.
Which one? Where they went from
Go
the
through
stage, or the ring?
Stage. Stage was
That's a
awesome.
crazy story. I mean, Taz knocked himself out doing that. I don't know how he pictured that ending. Like, I'm gonna flat back off this ramp 5 feet onto cement and throw you into the crowd. Like, that's
Is that the same one?
Against a guy of Bam Bam size.
Is that the
Yeah.
same one where Taz fucked up his back on the railing?
he hit. I don't know.
Taz with 1 Z, by the way, not 2.
It was
Yeah.
it was on the entrance ramp.
He hit the back of his. It could have been he hit his back of his head and knocked himself out as well. But it's quite possible. He hit his shoulder
Maybe it
also.
was his head. I know it was a railing on the
Reactive
right off
was.
the entrance.
In case you want to see who we're talking about.
Yeah, Taz.
Show us where did he touch you on the doll?
He's a little too tall, but that's
We brought these guys up
the
before.
Dudleys.
Great articulation.
Yeah, Dudleys aren't bad.
Oh, the ECW Dudleys?
Well, the figures. Great articulation. Fun to play with.
Still?
Yeah, why not? Don't grow up.
So what are your favorite matches from your favorite ECW guy? What are your favorite Rob Van Dam ECW matches?
Easily,
Jerry Lynn.
that comes to mind immediately. Overall matches, I brought up the Taz and
I didn't say overall. I said Rob Van Dam.
Oh, okay.
We'll stay on that for now.
Jesus, you have to be a dick about it. Every time him and Spike Dudley locked up, you know it was going to be something good.
They even did some cool shit for the hardcore title in WWF after the fact. After they got signed there.
RVD and Spike?
Yeah.
Him and Sabu when they were a tag team was always fun.
Yeah. Against each other, they had good matches.
Yeah,
too. Have you
against
ever
each
seen
other.
the stretcher match they had?
Yeah, that's really good. Try to think of other ones. What do you think? What about you? What's your favorite RVD match?
I don't know.
In the shark singlet.
The Sharks.
In the gi, in the karate gi.
Oh, the early RVD.
Heel RVD.
They had a crazy feud with the
Eliminators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Van Dam's gimmick come about because he looks vaguely like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, of course.
That's where
just like him.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's vague.
And I'm pretty sure they're related.
they probably are. The name would say it all.
No, that's definitely has to be what it was.
Well, the karate gi, I mean.
And he's the one who's the most undeniable, which is the reason why he won the WWF World Title, probably.
Yeah.
Anybody who shit talks ECW, Rob Van Dam, I think, would undoubtedly be the shining example of somebody who is undebatably good that came out of there.
Yeah.
You know?
Solid, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of them that were good. Like, I mean,
He checked all the boxes. Maybe not entirely promo, but I mean, he had the look.
but
had the ability.
he had charisma without talking.
Yeah, he didn't need to talk.
Yeah.
And he got
So-
better talking over the years. Like, you know, he kind of
Actually, you know, you can't even say that. You can't even say that because he was good on the mic in ECW. He wasn't bad. He was
But
just.
he also had Alfonso a lot to help kind of help him along.
Right down the middle, Daddy.
Yeah.
Remember his blood fest with Beulah that he had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. What about Sabu? Sabu and Terry Funk, I think, is one of the best ECW matches.
It's
of all
gotta
time.
be,
The
right?
little barbed wire.
It's
yeah.
got to be.
That's just such a spectacle. How about Sabu's Stairway to Hell match with the Sandman?
I was just going to bring up him and Sandman had a couple of real, like some of the ladder spots they did were insane.
Do you remember the one? I think it was November to Remember.
It's like a 20-foot ladder and he goes like flipping off of it or something.
Yeah, he flipped out of the ring through 2 tables. And what they only have the hard cam of that. For like 20 years, I've been trying to find the fan cam version of that.
That'd be fun to see.
Because in the hard cam, he falls out of the ring in front of the guardrail, so you can't see if the tables break. You just see him fucking go flying out. But I want to see if the tables actually break. I don't know if that's in existence, though.
You're right, because you don't see that.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, you just see the long fall, but then there's like a sea of people,
And
right?
his
You
hand
can't.
just touches the top rope when he flips out.
Which is really kind of a shame. Like nowadays, there'd be 400
looks so
different
cool
angles of
anyway,
like
though. Yeah,
it
yeah.
happening.
People's phone cameras.
Yeah.
They had another match at like November to Remember, and it was. I thought it was great in how horrible it is. People say it's like so botchy, but just nothing went right. Like the tables didn't break, or they did break when they weren't supposed to, or the ladders fell the wrong way, or they fucked up dives, or everything just went like it was a train wreck. But it was. I liked it because of that.
Well, talking about bocce, that's what I was going to say to our point before is RVD was like the shining like thing that came out of ECW. So anyone who dogs ECW, it's like, well, there's RVD. There was a lot of wrestlers or characters that were great in different aspects, that were like a level 10 on different aspects, either on the microphone or their character or their wrestling ability. Lance Storm, one incredible wrestler.
You're exactly right.
Horrible on a microphone, like dry as dry can be, but great wrestler, great ring technician. So there were a lot of 10s in there. There just wasn't
you're
like
exactly
there
right.
wasn't
They
a
push
lot
people-
of cross the board
They
10s.
push people's strong points.
Yeah.
Like you guys, what's your favorite 911 match?
That's what Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman
Fuck
said
that
that
guy
the
up.
best is
All
like
of them.
Paul Heyman's thing was always about accentuate the positive, hide the negative.
That's what he did, and that was
All
always a
the
part of his
time,
marketing.
with his product, with his wrestlers, with managers, with everything.
Yeah,
And he was,
dead on.
and it worked. He took this little hole in the wall thing and actually became something. The third biggest, organization in the '90s. So it worked. So you can't really say that. Oh, RVD was the one thing. No,
Sabu versus Taz was another
a
one.
lot of shining things that came out of ECW. It was just RVD made it further.
Have you ever seen New Jack versus Mike Awesome for the ECW title on Hardcore TV?
I don't know if I have.
That's
I
a
don't
pretty
think
good
I
one.
have.
It ends with instead of an awesome bomb, New Jack, Mike Awesome picks him up on his shoulder like this.
The demonstration.
And just runs and
I like it.
throws him out of the ring, and New Jack grabs the top rope and just flips out of the ring through a table. I just
That's
imagine
awesome.
New Jack like coked up or hungover backstage being like, "What hell no, you're not power on me out of the fucking ring. I'll do a flip, you could throw me out like that." But
Yeah, but then he'll let Vic Grimes almost destroy his life.
that was
Is that his name,
ridiculous.
Vic Grimes?
Yeah, Vic Grimes.
I remember that.
The Danbury, Connecticut fall.
That was insane. I remember I was watching that at somebody's house.
I was too.
It was pay-per-view, wasn't it?
Yeah, they fell off of at least a 50
scaffold.
and they had 2 tables set up, which were broken like by New Jack's leg.
And he fell right on New Jack's
Grimes
head.
weighed a good close to 350.
Yeah, he was definitely over 300.
New Jack pretty much hit the concrete after just brushing these tables, and Grimes, 350 pounds, somersaulted and landed on top of him on his head. And he had brain fluid leaking and lost vision.
Like both eyes, like 80% in
Fucked
one
him
or
up.
something like that, and like 30 in the other.
That was ridiculous.
He almost went blind for ECW.
So we got
ECW.
that, and then we have what other New Jack dives? There's Tommy knocking Brian Lee off the scaffold.
How about him jumping off of the truck, like the 18-wheeler?
On Bubba?
I think so. I just remember the
There's
image
so
of him
many-
jumping off
so
of the
many
truck.
New Jack dives. He's done
Oh, that was his spot. That was his thing.
dual dives with Spike.
That was always his spot.
Yeah.
Well, that and also bringing in all the weapons and letting his music play throughout the entire match.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
I just saw him wrestle a couple months ago. He just kind of lumbers around the ring.
Yeah, he's got to be in so much pain.
That too, yeah. He plays it off like he's like masterfully like guiding his way through this hardcore match, like waiting for his spots and like slowly stalking somebody with a trash can lid in hand. But really, he's just moving
You can't really play
real
that
slow.
off, though. Yeah.
No, you kinda
You've
can
been in the
tell.
business for 25
Look at
whatever
Foley.
years.
I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, he just got dick flipped. I saw.
Did he?
Yeah,
New Jack?
Foley. No,
Foley.
New Jack did not get dick.
I was. He wouldn't do that, would he?
No.
Yeah. New
So did
Ja-
Shamrock,
New Ja-
didn't he? Shamrock got dick flipped?
Yes.
New Jack
That's, I
and
think, more
Nick Gage
surprising.
both got dick
Yeah.
flipped.
Nick Gage did too.
Oh, yeah.
Would you sell a
I
dick
don't
flip?
believe that.
I'd sell a dick flip.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
It'd be fun.
I'd sell a SARS blanket if the crowd cheered loud enough.
It's gonna get weird.
So no rope barbed wire in ECW. We had Sabu and Terry Funk. Then we had the Public Enemy against Terry and Dory Funk. But the Public Enemy wore all hoodies, and Terry and Dory wore long johns and jeans. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was alright. I think they might have had a chair riot in that match. May or may not have. Sandman and Cactus Jack had 2 no rope barbed wire matches. One of them was down in Florida, and I can only find clips of it. I've been looking to find the entire match for 10 years now, and I've seen it once in its entirety, but it's hard to track down. And Raven and Sandman also had a no rope barbed wire match, so I think that's 5.
Was Sabu and Funk the last one?
It was either that or the Sandman and Cactus
Yeah.
Jack. Yeah,
They must have decided this is pretty dangerous.
yeah.
Because Sabu, didn't he got caught wide open, didn't he? He was like leaking.
Yeah, he cut the whole inside of his bicep open.
Yeah. He taped it together, didn't he?
What an animal.
His wrist tape.
There's a conspiracy theory that he wasn't actually hurt. If you watch it on tape, you in fact can't see a cut on his arm, and you can't really see blood gushing out. But you can just.
Well,
get
if you
cuts
cut
so
down
bad,
to the
there's
meat,
fucking, yeah.
if you
Yeah.
cut down the meat, it's not going to initially bleed right off the bat.
Yeah, but people say that was a work. But even if it was, he's covered in scars.
I think he's proven himself time and time
He got
again.
his neck broken a few times. Have you ever seen when he did the lion salt and landed mouth first on a table leg that was sticking up out of the ground?
No.
Broke his jaw,
Yeah.
knocked 2 of his
And then he was
teeth out.
taping his jaw.
Yeah.
Like, cause he was famous for the tape. Like,
Yeah.
even if it wasn't helping him at all, it was just cool to look at.
The fan cam of that, there's like...
Benoit broke his neck, right?
Yeah, oh god, that was...
He gave him like the high angle.
The backdrop.
Yeah, it was like a high angle suplex.
Yeah, it
was
and he-
like, yeah,
It was this
stamping.
super fucking hard just drop directly on his neck at like a fucking 45-degree
It
angle.
was a standing
I think
release
Sabu got
more
the
than
last
a
laugh in the whole
exploder
Benoit
or
thing.
Suplex, if that's the thing.
Yeah, it was just watching it makes you like your fucking like back just
Yeah, well, where's Benoit now?
I think he's like right there with Ivan Reitman. He's buried in work or something. I don't know.
He's still preparing for that ECW heavyweight title match with Shelton Benjamin.
That he was supposed to attend and didn't. I thought that was against.
Did somebody tell Shelton? Yeah, we gotta call him.
That's why Shelton hasn't
Wasn't
been in any
that-
of the matches yet. He's still training.
Wasn't the replacement match CM Punk versus
Oh, you're right, it was CM Punk.
Johnny Mundo? What's his name?
John Morrison.
Yeah, thank you, Morrison.
Johnny Nitro.
And that's it. That was the replacement.
Let's talk about ECW guys that you didn't like. I know Shane Douglas was
I don't know. I kind of like Shane.
I like Shane Douglas.
I think that speaking to your part that he was a 10 on the mic, but I feel his match quality wasn't that great.
No, of course
What was your
not.
favorite Shane Douglas match? I'd be hard pressed. I'd say against Taz.
Taz.
Because that was the first pay-per-view.
And all the moments with him and Taz.
Yeah.
Him putting down the belt, that was just some legendary stuff.
I mean, he was in some good 6-ways and tags and stuff, but I wasn't a huge fan of his in-ring work, but promos certainly.
Yeah, when he was teaming up with like Candido and them, and Bam Bam at one point, right?
Yeah, the triple threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jersey Triad.
That was quite a moment when he threw the NWA title down. That
They can all kiss my
that was
ass.
a huge fucking deal.
Oh yeah, because he had so much heat with like all of the Carl Luzo?
Oh yeah, okay.
He had so much real life heat with that guy, and they didn't trust him, and he was always noted to be like a risk. Nobody wanted to touch Shane Douglas. Like, he wasn't reliable. So that was like his moment. That's probably his best moment in his career.
Throwing the title down?
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
You don't think it's winning the IC title? Well, he kind of won it from like an injury from Scott Hall or something in WWE.
No, for me, I think the best Shane Douglas moment has got to be putting the belt down.
Yeah.
And legitimizing ECW.
Yeah, the most iconic. That's kind of cool if you think about it, that his career moment was throwing a belt down as opposed to winning one.
Yeah.
And the one he threw down was nowhere near as prestigious as the one he won, but it was still apex that or surpassed that.
Yeah, definitely.
So who didn't you guys really like in ECW?
Roadkill?
You didn't like Roadkill?
He's all right. I mean, he had the Undertaker spot.
They had that strong tag team mid-card division, I thought.
Are you talking
all
about
right.
like wrestling fan I don't like, or
Anything.
as in like this guy's an asshole I don't like?
Either. Anybody you didn't like?
Just in general?
Well, Sabu's kind of become a villain now, if you follow his Twitter.
Yeah.
But I still gotta love the guy, though.
Yeah.
He provided so much joy for me back in the 90s.
Absolutely.
And he might have CTE now, who knows?
I smoked a bowl with Sabu,
Did you really?
and I smoked a joint with RVD.
See, now that usurps.
I did it.
Yep.
I did it.
I don't think we can continue this podcast now.
This is why I'm the fucking champ. Yes.
I'll always have Hammerstein.
I'll always have Hammerstein. Remember the Alamo.
So who did you hate?
I don't really think I hated anybody.
No, I mean,
That speaks to how good it was. That it's
No,
really
well,
hard.
that's the
Roadkill
thing
is more of a joke,
It's
but,
not like a cop-out answer, but ECW was the one. All right, you watch WCW. There's clear villains and heels, or heels and faces. And WWF there was clear heels and faces. In ECW there were heels and faces, but the whole thing wasn't like, all right, here's this big globe with a bunch of characters in it. ECW was the character. Like, it was the thing. You watch that and you watch the whole product. It wasn't like, all right, I'm going to tune in later in the second hour of this show to watch the big stars. You watch the whole fucking thing.
Promos would happen. People would come to the ring. Stuff would bleed into other things.
Yeah, like you watch a show. It's an entire. It's like a movie. You want to watch the whole thing. I mean,
there was no weak spots on any of the episodes.
Raw in the later years of the '90s became that, and it was like something you want to watch the whole thing because there was. But I mean,
the hour format was great.
Yeah, ECW was the whole show. So to say who didn't you really like, and there were characters I didn't really care for, but it wasn't like
I did fast forward through a lot of Dudley promo work when I watched a lot of house shows and fan cams, and I went backwards and retroactively watched a shitload of old stuff, and a lot of the super long mic work I'd skip through sometimes.
Right.
But they would purposely be on the mic for 20 minutes just to
Well, that was the point, just to get that nuclear heat.
And if I had an hour to watch something, I had to skip through a little bit of it.
And in ECW, you could say whatever you wanted to the fans.
Yeah.
It was vile. It was awesome.
that was before the whole you hurt my feeling movement.
Oh, you could never do it now.
No.
The Dudleys come out and say Axl Rotten couldn't be there. This might even be the first one I saw Guilty as Charged 99.
Oh,
because
that
his
is-
grandmother passed away from, what do you say, from Devon giving her the dick or something. Devon gave her the sickle cell anemia by way of injection. It's like making a black joke about how Devon Dudley raped Axl Rotten's dead grandmother.
It doesn't get more layered than
it's
that.
So great. So great.
Bubba has always been one of the great promos. I mean, he really is. He's almost underrated.
Yeah, at this point, he's gathered up some accomplishments. Isn't he former ROH champion? I know he's former Impact champion.
ROH, Impact.
You're right, though. I mean, it did take a while for him to accumulate some accolades.
I loved his comeback when he came back to the Rumble a few years ago. That was a pretty good moment for him.
It kind of sucked. It was cool to see him back, but it kind of sucked because he went back to the Bubba Ray thing, and by then he already had the established Bully Ray, which is way better than the WWF Bubba Ray.
Bully. Not in kid programs.
No, but I mean, Bully Ray was like a morphed version of his old ECW Bubba Ray.
Bully.
Yeah, you can't do it. You got to be a star. What'd you guys think of the renewal? I mean, Wolf, right?
That was actually the reason why they couldn't use it.
McMahon's 5.
I remember watching the first 2 or 3 episodes and almost being on board with it.
Because they had RVD and they featured him prominently in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the Sci-Fi Channel thing?
Yeah.
I was out the first episode when they brought a fucking zombie out. I'm like, no.
Well,
because right off the bat, you knew what they were doing.
They were buried.
They were on Sci-Fi Channel, a zombie coming out. Come on.
That was supposed to be an alien, but they said it was too direct a representation of sci-fi or something.
Right off the bat, I knew exactly what they were going to do.
The name kind of is the direct representation of their programming. But it started with the one night stand pay-per-views, and that's what it generated all of that hype and people remembering how good
the first 2 were awesome.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
You had hope when they did
was amazing from that.
The first 2 were awesome.
Yeah, that might be their best work. That might be their best match.
Could be, yeah. That was ridiculous.
That was the first one. That was 2005, wasn't it? That was the first one.
I'm not sure if that was
It was Tanaka and Mike Awesome.
Was that right around the same time that Joey Styles laid out Layfield in real life? Did you hear that story?
Yeah.
And they knocked him out.
Really?
Legitimate, supposed badass Layfield got knocked the hell out by.
Who beat the fuck out of the. Speaking of bullies, split open the Blue Meanie's face there.
And then he tried to start in on Styles, and he's like, "Not today."
Yeah, that's great. Those were really good shows. What was the main event? It was Tommy and Terry Funk against. Well, that was even when they started becoming shitty. When Edge came in a football.
Yeah, but that was cool only because RVD won the belts because of that. Remember, they were all chanting "Thank you, Edge," because he beat Cena.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was the end of the Cena match.
Yeah, that was the second one. That was 2006.
Yeah, that was the second one.
The first one was the tag match. That was the tag match. Was 2005.
Both shows were terrific.
Now it's impossible to recreate anything like that was because all the guys are too old to,
What do you think is the closest thing that's out there right now to what ECW
the one I went to a month ago was supposed to be an ECW tribute show because they used to run shows in that town.
House of Hardcore would be your answer.
Not in that venue, yeah. And they had Sandman, Scorpio, Sabu, X amount of guys, but...
Too Cold Scorpio?
No, it was regular Scorpio, room temperature Scorpio.
Oh.
He doesn't do the 450, he does the 98.6.
Sounds like Light FM.
Splits a splash.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he was.
That's who Shane Douglas beat in the tournament finals, right?
Oh, yeah,
And then he laid the belt down.
I think you're right.
He was definitely underrated in his day.
The closest thing to ECW now would have
House of Hardcore, right?
with notoriety.
Not really. House of Hardcore runs kind of sporadically every month or so.
But they have some notoriety, I'd say.
But yeah, they'll run in Jersey, and then they won't run there again for 8 months.
But
They'll
you
run in
can't-
Wisconsin and Australia. You'd have to think of a place with a rabid 18 to 34 fan base. GCW, I would say, obviously.
Yeah.
GCW for sure. Yeah, no doubt. And they brought in the deathmatch element of it, which is cool too. ECW really didn't have as much as barbed wire and crazy shit as people. It did have its fair share of it. But.
No, that was what was put up on a pedestal. That's why everyone thinks that every fucking show.
But to me, the unsung heroes were like those triple threat matches with like Super Crazy and Guido and Tajiri, and
That's my favorite.
some of the great matches
back in the day. Like that's always been my favorite. Like I love
actual matches.
using, like we talked about it before, just wrestlers that are great technicians, great high flyers, and they incorporate weapons in.
Yeah.
Like I like that more than guys who just like.
So you hate the Sandman? That we figured it out. He hates Sandman.
I like big fat guys with opioid addictions and 2 baby mamas and drinking problems, and that downed like a half a bottle of Tylenol to thin their blood and had some shots and a line of some shitty coke they got at the truck stop, and they stab each other with
So
razor
why do you
blades.
have such a problem with Queso de Soto?
Who?
You know.
I haven't seen that guy in a while.
I know. There's such a problem with
that
that.
was oddly specific.
No, I don't know. I forgot. What
Just described him.
I was talking about the hack and slash, the big fat deathmatch guys that just fucking just bleed all over and wander around and stab each other.
The ones that Jim Cornette hates.
Yeah.
He hates all of them.
That's,
He hates. He calls
true.
them Mud Show. Yeah, I listen to his podcast occasionally. So
So do I.
yeah, it's pretty good.
It is good. Right?
It's a pretty good podcast.
It's funny.
I mean,
It's funny.
I like that he buries AEW because it makes me laugh. Not that I dislike AEW, but
buries everything.
oh yeah, but unless it's made in his image.
If it's not NWA, he
yeah,
buries it.
yeah, and it's not 1979.
Exactly. Yeah.
You hear what Rob Van Dam called AEW? All petite wrestling.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah, it is.
Because RVD was a high flyer, but he was a big dude. I mean,
Yeah.
comparatively speaking, he was not small.
Doing flips into the third row on Bam Bam and Mahoney, he did it too also.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that, like, back in the day? That still is mind-blowing that he did a somersault off the top rope a good 15 feet into the crowd, but now people are doing double backflips off of cages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ricochet.
Yep. That was
He's unreal.
He doesn't even know what gravity is. Like,
No, he's unreal.
Well, that's Pac. Well, Gravity forgot him. He knew what it was, but then Gravity didn't stop picking up his calls or something.
The bastard. That's what he's going by now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the bastard Pac.
That's good.
I like my Pacs with the 2 in front of them.
all of them. What about the X?
I like them as 1, 2, 3 kid. Did you just like?
Disapproving nod.
I don't know if that or sexual.
No. That would be. See, there's
Fairly similar.
all right, a little similar. There is a difference, mostly in the direction I'm looking.
How about the mass transit incident?
I was just thinking about that. I was just thinking about fat underage kids getting stabbed.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Your thoughts.
Well, that was a big fat kid named Eric Koulis, and I think he was 17 years old, which deemed him illegal to wrestle in, where was the mass transit? That was in New Jersey, was it?
Yeah,
I think so.
So he was a last minute fill-in for Axl Rotten, I believe, so he put on his, evidently also a big fat father's bus driver uniform and called himself Mass Transit. And he was supposed to gig during the match. He was supposed to cut his head with a little piece of razor blade so he could bleed, but he couldn't do it, so he told New Jack, can you cut my head for me? And New Jack said, yep, I sure can.
I'd be obliged.
And New Jack had a medical scalpel taped to a stick or something, and just put the thing to his head and slit his whole head open, his whole forehead, slit a vein. He was just pissing on his back, pissing blood straight in the air. I think he was on his feet at one time, and he just got whaled in the face with a trash can with like so much blood in his eyes he couldn't even see it. And there was a big to-do about it. New Jack was arrested, found not guilty, which birthed his sometimes catchphrase, "Not guilty." You ever imagine it mighty New Jack? The kid lied on his papers, and that's what ultimately what I think freed New Jack. But cut his head right open. New Jack's had multiple instances.
Kid almost died, right? I mean, he almost bled out.
He is dead now.
Is that fact?
Yep. What he had coming to him all these years later.
How did he die?
This big fat guy had a heart attack like 3, 4, 5 years ago.
No shit. I didn't know that.
I mean, they just said he had a heart attack. I assume he was still a big fat guy.
It's a fair assumption.
Heartbreak from never making it in ECW. Imagine that was your one match.
He blew a shot.
Should have sold it. Died then.
Yeah.
Well, it was one match. Gained like national notoriety.
Yeah, I mean
Not in a great way, but
you don't want your one appearance.
I mean, we're sitting here talking about it, so
still like what, 20 years later?
If your only appearance with the company is referred to as an incident, you know. That was a big one for sure. How about those video games? How fucking shitty were they?
I had the first one.
They were awesome.
PlayStation 1, right?
Yes. No.
I liked them.
They were horrible, but the fact that back then you could have barbed wire matches and shit, I
had the first one.
It was Acclaim.
Cool, but it was after like No Mercy came out, so they went back to use the old engine that even sucked.
No, well that was it. That was just it. It was Acclaim that put it out, and Acclaim had like the Mortal Kombat like combinations you had to like know to do suplexes and shit like that. No,
I like creating my character.
Yes,
that was fun.
My favorite part was recreating the classic hot pit of flaming coals and lava surround the ring match. That was
what?
They had an Inferno match with just fucking hot flaming lava all around, cold piles of rocks around.
Did they have that in the first one, or was that the second one?
I don't know.
I
don't remember.
I'll have to turn it on, pop it in. I have the emulator.
Maybe we'll have a title match in a flaming hot coal lava barbed wire.
Should have a title match in the
You had me at flaming.
Fire Pro Wrestling.
No, ECW game. because it's so great.
I was hoping you'd say Mortal Kombat 1.
And I'm gonna be New Jack, and we're gonna play the original Gangsta's National Born Killers theme the whole time.
Okay.
Well,
In post or during the
Doesn't-
film?
both.
Okay. All right. I'll match the 2 tracks, so it's just slightly off. Yeah, it'd be good.
That seems pretty difficult to do.
No, I can do it.
You're the master.
I am. No, I'm not.
Bader.
Yes.
What else? What else we talking about?
We need more. Tajiri and Super Crazy did a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's talk about all the stuff that Paul Heyman, that the other people got credit for, like the WCW, bringing the cruiserweights over and such.
what?
Tajiri and Super Crazy did a bunch of crazy shit. Let's talk about Paul Heyman.
Just stay with them.
All right, go ahead.
And this is your fault. You're the bad moderator.
I'm not a moderator.
Paul Heyman did a lot of crazy shit. Remember?
Like not paying talent towards the end.
Yeah.
Not being able to redo the TV
especially
deal.
for who was on his roster. That is pretty fucking crazy.
You guys remember Louis Dangerously? He was a guy. Crack people with the phone.
Just like that.
Good talk.
Just like. Oh, you want to talk about
He
what
was a guy.
what was stolen from ECW as far as gimmicks and whatever? And,
The cruiserweights, WCW got a huge amount of credit for.
oh yeah.
Well, the whole table thing. I mean, they all pretty much stole that from ECW.
So I think Sabu originated that. He was doing that over in Japan. I think Sabu was pretty much the guy that did that for the most part. In both Japan and ECW, maybe simultaneously.
Tables?
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember back in the early days, like the big table break in like WCW or WWF was like
Bret Hart and Diesel.
Well, I was thinking like Shawn Michaels going through the announcer table with Vader, I think it was.
Oh, really?
Back in 95 or 97, maybe it was 95.
Was that before or after Bret and Diesel used the wooden folding table?
I don't know. It was like, it was really soft looking
About the same time, wasn't it?
Really soft looking table break. It was like the table didn't even really break, it just kind of like lightly folded, very gingerly. With, it had like the cloth over it and everything, so.
But then once
Nonetheless.
ECW started doing it more prominently, everybody started
Yeah,
doing
and then they
tables
started just
matches.
bringing it out all the
Tables
time.
higher than chairs.
I love it.
More
The
and more.
tables unfortunately been phased out now. People buy doors instead. Doors are cool, but I like tables better.
Tables always felt better.
They're
You
so
know?
expensive.
Tables are way better.
The door's kind of shattered, which is kind of fun, I guess. And there's 2 sides to
I
them,
think the
but
door thing is stupid.
It's so cheap though that they're so inexpensive compared to tables that are like $120 for a proper table. You know, and they used to be able to just break the rental tables.
It just seems odd, you know. There's a door under the ring. Let's use that.
Yeah, it does.
Well, even the table's kind of odd. I mean, I guess you could
There could be
justify
a
it a
table
little
at
more.
I
ringside.
love the ringside table.
You could,
You know.
yeah, you could justify it a little more, but definitely a door is just completely
Yeah.
like, why?
The ringside
Where?
table gives the constant idea that at any moment there could be a table spot out of the ring or off the apron or something. You know, the ringside table is a beautiful thing, I think. Problem is getting choke slammed through the ringside table that we talked about earlier by Psycho Sid.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff. I used to have a tape that was the best of RVD and Sabu, Rolling Thunder, and they had a lot of matches they had with Cronus and Saturn.
Yep.
They had like effectively TLC matches. They'd call them table and ladder matches. They'd break a few tables and use ladders, you know, 6 foot, 8 foot ladders, sometimes bigger.
I loved their finisher. Like how they both came
The
from
total elimination.
Yeah. So
They
awesome.
did a lot of cool stuff with them.
Even RVD and Sabu had a great finisher too. When they came
Rolling
off
Thunder.
yeah.
Oh, no, okay. Rolling Thunder was a signature move and the name of the
Yeah.
tag team. And then what was that called?
I don't remember the name, but I remember they were both jumping off of the opposite ends of the
Yeah.
turnbuckles, and that was always cool.
I don't remember the name of that guy that did that to Hayabusa through a table, I think.
Hayabusa. Bro, you ever see that broken neck?
Oh, God.
That wasn't ECW, but
Shit like that.
I once showed my dad that, and he goes, "Oh fuck! Why would you do that to me?"
No, that's one that gets me, man.
I mean, that's hard to look at.
I'll watch somebody get their whole back sliced open, squirting blood out of their hand or something, but the broken
You've seen
necks-
that one, right? The Hayabusa neck break. You should put it up there. It's pretty awful.
I don't know if I can find it. But
It's worse than Sid.
Sid.
It's worse than Sid.
Oh, God.
Think of Sid and think like 10 times worse.
oh God,
He goes,
Imagine being a neck.
that's awful.
he goes to do
Just the thought of that is.
he goes to do his springboard moonsault.
And like the rope
He
kind
doesn't
of.
get enough momentum, and he kind of lands like this, and just lands with his head turned this way, and Does he even flip backwards? I don't know.
I don't even think he has he can. I think he kind of just rolls, right? It was hard to look at.
It was disgusting. Let's just put it on loop for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
If we can find a loop of it, it'll be playing for the
With
rest of the
Sabu getting
episode.
his neck broke, just Sabu and Hayabusa one after the other.
Are we allowed to show Benoit?
And a short clip of those people that were holding hands that jumped off the Trade
I
Center.
might as well just go all the way and show Owen Hart too. I don't.
That's not on video.
That's too soon.
It is. It's foreboding.
It's never seen video. Recorded, never released. Same like Draws breaking his neck.
There is video, but yeah, it was never released.
Locked deep inside.
Everything.
the tower.
Apparently, everything was confiscated. Maybe there is something out there that managed to squeak its way out, but
Vince jerks off to it and fevered fury late at night.
look at
The Hart family.
such good shit, pal.
So, what are you guys doing tonight?
What an off. That's just the idea of that. It's just awful. Sid's fucking leg break was just bad enough.
Oh yeah, you should watch it.
That just turns Vince on. That's just what he watches as a warm up.
Some of the nasty breaks in UFC and shit like that.
I gotta say, Hayabusa's was probably the worst ever I've ever seen. So good luck with that.
All right. I'll let
You'll be
you.
able to find. I think it'll be easy to find. Just Google it.
Oh, sure. I'm sure. You can find anything. Almost anything.
My favorite commentary line in ECW of all time was Don Callis, the Jackal. Underrated everything, I think. I know he's behind the scenes a lot, and that goes underrated.
Great
all the time.
commentator though.
Three-way between Tajiri, Super Crazy, and Little Guido.
Okay.
Tajiri and Super Crazy hit Guido with some sort of double offense. They both, eat shit. And Joey says, Tajiri and Super Crazy teaming up against Little Guido. And he goes, yeah. And Callis goes, yeah, of course they're teaming up on him, Joey. These foreigners are diabolical.
You can't say shit like that anymore, man.
And Joey stops and goes, these foreigners are diabolical? And he goes, it's okay, Joey Styles. I'm from Canada. I'm a foreigner.
Fair enough.
Great commentary, too. And Joey Styles always was renowned for his ability to call even an entire pay-per-view on his own. And I understand in the world of commentary, it's quite a feat to commentate an entire show on your own.
Yeah,
With no
absolutely.
Play
I can imagine.
Play and color. And
The whole idea is just to bounce like thoughts back and forth with
I
someone.
always liked
like,
Joey Styles. I
ideas.
thought he's great.
yeah, me too. Joey's one of my all-time favorites.
Morrow is like the new Joey Styles.
Yes, absolutely.
He's like, it's very similar style.
He's got a
Morrow's great. I like
Broadcaster
Morrow.
type delivery, does he?
yeah.
Yeah, and he's a great play-by-play guy. Just like
Colorful.
Joey was.
Joey's terminology was good, even as far as submissions and all the other stuff he would talk about. Yeah, I only went to 3. I got to go to 3 ECW house shows.
3 house shows, and then the rest. Hammerstein.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So they had Hammerstein was a big venue, and then the ECW arena, of course. Where else did they frequent? I like watching the house shows. There was a lot of random venues with support beams next to the ring,
Yeah.
12-foot ceilings and shit.
And random scaffolding. And
Yeah. Where they went as far as Florida. They had Heat Wave in California one year. I know that they had a tussle with the XPW crew.
They did get out to the West Coast.
not often, though.
Never Canada. What would it take to recreate it today?
A complete revolution. Something beyond wrestling.
GCW is that, but it's on a smaller scale, I think.
Well, that's it. If you want to recreate ECW, ECW is on a larger scale.
It was lightning in a bottle. It was perfect for the time. It was something different that we needed with an edge.
Is that what you read on the back of the fucking DVD case?
When I beat you up later, I'm taking that jacket. I'm going to sell it for 50 cents.
That's a bargain.
Discount. I'll buy it.
50 cents. 45 for you.
Yes.
I'll put the Philly jersey on the line.
Yeah, okay.
To recreate it, it would. Everything is so politically correct now. It wouldn't happen.
Couldn't, yeah.
No, wouldn't happen. Something would have to happen beyond wrestling and like the whole social atmosphere of the world. Really.
Yeah, I don't think you can recreate it.
No, because if you said like these diabolical foreigners now, somebody's gonna go, "What the fuck?" and say something. Somebody.
We were in arenas of 1,000 people chanting, faggot.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was vile.
Yeah, that wasn't even ECW. That was wrestling in the 90s. Like, that was...
The first ECW show we went to, my dad took me. Francine came out and they started chanting, "She's got herpes." He started laughing so hard, tears were coming out of his eyes. And as soon as he was done, as soon as he was able to, he joined in the chant. As soon as he was done laughing,
That's tremendous.
yeah. And then one time at an ECW show, a chick took her titties out, and I had a flyer, and I was like, I had New Jack sign it, and we're outside the show, and she's talking to some people, and he's like, "Yeah, go get her autograph, Tyler." And I'm like, I don't really care. And he's like, no, go get her autograph. Go get her autograph. I'm like, I don't really care, Dad. She's not a wrestler. He's like, no, go get her autograph. Let's go. Go over and talk to her.
Yeah, you wanted to see her up close.
She signed,
Yeah, you do.
She signed it DJ Jazzy Jizz. so if she ever got murdered or fucking anything, I have her autograph. I assume that's the highest level of fame somebody like that could obtain.
With that name, anyway, it's a ring name.
It's a good name.
Yeah. Oh, she was just a fan. She wasn't even... New Jack was all fucked up. I got him to autograph something. Some Mark kid came up to him and said, "Hey, New Jack, can I get you anything?" He goes, "Give me a Snickers bar and an orange juice." And the kid just disappeared and went and bought shit for him. Yeah, the ECW house shows were great. All these... Well, some of them I went to were taped for TV. Tajiri and Just Incredible tag
That's awesome.
world title match.
Is that they're in their TV deal, the TNN TV deal there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One time, so
The
they
beginning of the end.
the show, the pay-per-view in California had Tommy and Just Incredible in a barbed wire Stairway to Hell match, and at the Poughkeepsie taping, Just Incredible came out with a bandage around his head for some reason. I had no idea why. And then a couple weeks later, the pay-per-view had like already happened. Like the taping was for after the pay-per-view. So we had the bandage, then the pay-per-view happened, then the taping aired. So he was wearing the bandage in anticipation of wrestling in the pay-per-view and had bleeding.
Right.
So he preemptively wore the bandage on his head.
I always found it ironic that
Bit of TV magic.
the WWF tried to help them get mainstream with was it 97 when they brought him on Raw? And
I don't think so. I didn't think it was ironic, right?
No, what I find ironic...
They were feeding their farm system, basically.
What I find ironic is the fact that WWF is ultimately the nail in the coffin because they stole that TV deal.
Yeah.
They stole the TNN TV deal pretty much from them. And obviously, I mean, TNN was going to say, sure, we want the bigger product.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they say it was a warm-up. Right.
Well, that's what Paul Heyman says. Like, we were just a warm-up to test the waters before WWF came in, took that deal.
How did he do so good for so long, and then maybe he just reached that certain level of money being involved, and
Paul Heyman?
yeah, things went haywire.
I think he was in over his head.
He was a financially bad businessman.
Let's see. He always blames the not being able to procure the second TV deal as the end, but he wasn't paying his talent.
If you I think Bubba said it. He said ECW was too small to be big and too big to be small.
Makes sense. Didn't Tommy Dreamer recently say he wanted to shoot Paul Heyman? Like this year, he had like some interview. He was like, maybe I had a gun and I actually wanted to go shoot him. But I love Paul Heyman.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, most of the talent. What am I supposed to like a Google quote?
Tommy Dreamer says, "I'm gonna kill you." I like that.
Most of the talent blames Paul.
Yeah, they do. A lot of ill will feelings towards him towards the end, and for years after.
Yeah, I didn't even know if it was like really ill feelings toward Paul as a person. Nah, maybe it was because I felt
like
he was bouncing checks and everything. Yeah,
you know?
Bouncing checks and
maybe the video game sank him.
I can't imagine how.
How about how Sandman had a tattoo of his own face on his arm? And it was upside down, so it would be right side up when he held this thing.
Steve-O took that, put it on his back, just one-upped him.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Stone Cold stole his gimmick.
Steve-O got fucked up by Umaga on Raw.
Did he?
Yeah, I listened to it.
Is that when Raw was doing that stupid like guest host thing?
Yeah.
Yep. I loved Umaga though. He was awesome.
Umaga slammed him, and then Steve-O stood up too fast, and I don't remember what he did, but he wrecked him, knocked him out or something, fucked him up.
Umaga died too young.
Yeah.
Or too old, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, he was awesome though.
Yeah, Umaga was.
I liked him a lot.
Yeah, despite his ethnic handicaps, he was a good guy.
Way to commit to the gimmick.
Where was he from anyway?
Portugal.
Samoa?
That explains why he's barefoot.
It's. I don't want to lie.
That's why his thumb was such a weapon. It's not opposable. Just jam it in your neck. Portugal. Ugh.
You really don't like it there, do you?
I've never been there.
He doesn't have to be.
He's not a fan.
If I had a ticket to Portugal, two-way, so you didn't even have to stay, and I gave it to you, free charge, room, board, everything, would you go?
I hear the Atlantic Ocean's beautiful this time of year. That's where I would fucking jump out of the plane on the way to Portugal.
Yeah. 37,000 feet.
Or any country that's connected to it. If any countries are connected to it. I don't know where the fuck it is. I don't want to.
I think physically they are, but financially, socially, I don't think.
I think they still use clamshells and shiny rocks for money over there, so.
So you could just go to a quarry or something, bring like a suitcase, and you'd be rich.
Yeah, but that's like being...
Not rich, but
Hood rich.
filthy. Filthy
like
rich.
being
Well,
the-
rich is filthy rich.
It's like
But he's just
being,
filthy. Rich, filthy.
You'd
be wealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he said.
It's like being the richest rat in the garbage pile, though. That's
Yeah.
really get you.
I don't know.
You're still a subhuman piece of shit from Portugal.
It is, yeah. I guess you're right. I don't know.
I don't even... Was it even Portugal? I started out... Yeah, it was.
You don't even remember which one you started hating.
I also have issues with the Indonesians.
Yeah? What's your issue with them?
I'm not sure what yet,
All right.
but I'm sure there's something there.
Do some digging.
I don't like the flag much.
No?
No. Too much of something or not enough something, I'm not sure.
What if I told you I was Indonesian?
There's no blue-eyed Indonesians.
So are you saying I'm handsome?
Oh, boy. All right.
I mean, you can answer.
No, it sounds like this is over.
So we'll never get the answer?
I'm interested in the answer.
Because you already know it.
Sure.
All right.
Thanks.
That was easy.
Thanks.
Gay sick boy, gay sick boy.
Sick as shit, boy.
Gay sick boy.
What is this? Ring out, lose?
Yep.
Alright. Then yes.
Yep.
Just keep everything bad.
No rope break.
I'm going for the quick roll up. Just in case you want to know.
Are you okay? Schoolboy?
I'm schoolboy. Money you
Are you ready
guys.
for it?
And then we're gonna play this game.
Oh, we're recording. Number one champion. Champion number one.
Where's your
King of the
belt? We're
world.
supposed to be holding it up.
Tyler Van King.
Can I just get past my intro? There we go.
Fuck Chris Jericho.
I'm gonna represent the old school horror movies. That's what I do with Dr. Frank.
That's what Parker's doing.
Yeah. Oh. No, that's Mexican horror movies.
Look at them tits.
Yep, bye. What a man.
Look at them tits. Oh,
Would you?
what a woman. Is that Crowbar? That is Crowbar.
Fuck his entrance. Yeah, nobody cares. Fuck this man's entrance. Alright, do you remember how to play? I don't.
Oh, shit.
Isn't that the point? Why are you coming to me? Are you kidding me? You like that? You like that, my big boat? That Dr. Frank? Alright. Le champion. Oh, I got hit. I gotta remember what does what. Alright. Don't worry. I'd like to know how you change like your like everything that I'd like to know how do I change? How do I reverse? When fighting. That's how you taunt.
I'm pissed I dropped my steel chair immediately.
Yeah. Come here, Parker.
Oh shit.
Woo! Woo! Now, if only I could figure out how to try to pin. Is this one, like, is this elimination style, or? Yes, it's elimination, but Ah, fuck my butt. Oh, I am. Oh. I love how it's slow motion. Why are we ganging up on sick boy? Oh, I ran. feel that, baby.
I gotta try to figure out the block, but moreover, how do I switch my looking? Yes. What happened?
Champion!
Come on! What did you do? Someone press start and select at the same time?
No.
That's the only way that would happen.
Does that really make you win?
I'm champ.
I quit. I want to.
I'll grant the rematch right now, but I'm champion. That's a win for me. Over both of you.
It's horseshit.
You're 0-1 in title matches now, Rich. How's it feel?
I didn't really lose.
You didn't win.
So he's
0-0 and 1.
You didn't really win either.
Oh, that was a draw for you then too.
You're still champ.
Oh, his nose. That's true.
Are we doing an immediate rematch? Is this for the title?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fighting champion.
ABACAB.
This time put it on quick match.
Quick match.
Yeah.
Same people?
Hi. Yeah, Oscar. This guy.
So keep it the same. Alright. Make it easy.
Wait, no, you weren't for sure. Were you?
Yeah, you were.
Wait, who are you? Sorry,
Go Parker.
Then I'm gonna make him someone that we get beat by.
Right.
It'd be hilarious if we lose. That'd be 2
Quick
draws.
match on.
What does the quick match do?
Probably just our health goes way down way fast. I would imagine.
Yeah.
So we get
I'm
punched
not
once.
watching any of your come-outs. Fuck your come-outs. Unless you're coming out. You know what I mean.
It's called an entrance. We call it an entrance into business.
I call it a come-out.
Just so you don't embarrass yourself.
Because it reminds me of the closet.
Oh, I got my fucking chair already.
Boy, get out of here! That's right.
Oh,
That's right. You stay the fuck away from me.
Okay, I figured out how to block, but now I can't not block.
So why you gotta gang up on me? What did I ever do to you?
I can't not block. How do I not block?
How do you pin?
You just buffering your chest out.
I press block.
I'm not gonna tell you how to pin, bro.
I'm blocking, but I can't not block now.
That was beat the champ.
Oh, you got your nuts wrong by the champ.
That seems a little bit cheap.
Well, of course.
Why are we not ganging up on him, by the way?
Yeah,
You can't even do anything.
because I'm blocking everything. I can't do anything.
You get your chest puffed out and Goldberg. He's like, how do I penetrate this off?
He tried to spear me and it didn't work. I was like, I don't know what to do. He's going to.
Oh, come on!
He's going to you.
You had a guy just puffing his chest out.
Yeah, do something. You want to fight me? I'll fight you. Let me do something.
Fun fact, Jericho fucked up Goldberg. At least in my opinion. Why are you not doing anything?
I don't know what. He won't do it. I press
Try to
block.
hit the red button.
And now-
I think the red button changes what your button do.
I don't have a red button.
One all the way on the left.
No, that's run. I don't know. Shit. Yeah, come on, Goldberg.
You gotta stop being so cheap.
Look, he tries to spear me to do it.
Cheap, huh? How you like that? I go.
Goldberg, like, lock me up. Grapple me.
What is going on over there in the corner?
He won't do anything. Like, I'm hoping he grapple me. Maybe that would help.
I can't even get up right now. I think I have the broken controller.
I got a broken arm.
How do you do reversals?
I don't know. That's what I was going to figure out next. I figured out how to block, but now I can't not block.
I feel like
Why?
you guys set this up for me to lose.
I didn't set this.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Whoa!
You out, bitch.
We were going to play ECW. I don't have any ECW emulator. on.
No!
Goldberg.
You can go to hell. You can go to hell and you can die.
You lost the title. That's okay.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Fuck you.
Wait a minute. Does that make him the champ?
Nothing's gonna
He has to
happen.
beat him. He has to beat. Get out of here.
I can't do anything.
He has to
I'd like to just point out that I beat the champ.
No, he has to beat.
I like how the two guys could actually do something, beat each other, and not.
He has to beat Goldberg if I'm the champ.
Yes. Yes.
I would just like to point out, though.
Get in there and pull him out of the ring. I'll give you $1.
Where am I? We can't still use our guys, can we?
I pulled your ass out.
Yeah, I know, that's just bullshit.
Now I'm stuck. I'm ducking. I can't not duck now.
We didn't even make it 2 minutes.
Oh no!
I think I'm punching you.
We're gonna have a rivalry.
Yeah.
Your chest is so mighty.
Please let me do something.
This is painful.
It is pain. I can't do anything.
The fact that Goldberg isn't doing it is...
What do I do?
He seems so big.
Oh.
Oh.
I can't. Please let
All
me.
your fucking tactics works pretty well so far.
Why can't he spear you?
I'm gonna go home and
can't,
call you
'cause I'm
tomorrow
blocking.
and let you know. Let me know who wins. I'm gonna call you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see you. I'm out.
The clock
But
goes
guys,
up to 100
wait.
hours. It goes to 99 hours. My clock just resets.
Press your buttons.
What do you think I'm doing? Now he's just taunting